Hi, I'm Jean-Michel with IBM Rational. In this video, we're going to highlight all the cool features that the part of Rational Team constitutes to help your development teams with day-to-day activities. In particular, we're going to show you how to debug build breakages, how to increase collaboration on plans, and how development teams can help with ranking and prioritization, we have full traceability around all the development artifacts, and the power of change set-based collaborations. So let's start this demo in the dashboard. So dashboards are not only for project managers. On our team, we have a very development-focused dashboard to help us track the things that we care about the most. In particular, one of the things that we care about the most is having a green build. So we have tracking build items that have traceability across what builds we're trying to track, what sign-offs we have, who's the product owner, who's approved of it, and basically collaboration around making this build green. So the other things in the dashboard that we care about are build health, the defects that are opened, what builds have failed, which ones have succeeded. So we have all that traceability, development artifacts in the web. So in this case, we're going to debug why this build is red. So we have a history of builds, so you can see that we do actually have a green build at some point, which is great. But again, traceability is a key, so we can actually quickly see which work items were actually part of the build. And this is very helpful to find out what things broke the build, who to talk to, and what might need to be fixed. So in this case, directly from the build result, I'm going to go open a defect. I'm going to make this a blocker defect because red builds are bad. I'm going to assign it to myself for now, and I'm going to assign it to the sprint 3. So automatically you can see that this work item was traced back to the build result, so easily you can go from the defect now to the build and get full traceability. Now let's go actually fix this build breakage. So I'm going to switch over to our IDE. And in this case, I'm in an Eclipse-based IDE, and one of the cool things with Rational Team Concert is planning, builds, source control, and work items are part of everybody's life. So we bring this not only in the web, in dashboards, but also in the IDE. So in this case, I'm going to switch to the My Work view, which is where developers can actually triage and have a look at their fine-grained view of the planning that they have. Now this plan always links up to the team plans so that you can easily trace back to what as a team you've decided to do, and it makes it such that developers can have a direct link into the team plans. So in this case, what we're looking at is you can see my open defects and stories for this iteration, and there's one actually for fixing the broken build. Here it is here. So what I'm going to do is directly in the IDE, I'm going to mark it as high, I'm going to provide an estimate, and I'm going to re-rank it to the top of the list. The goal here is that this re-ranking and estimation is going to be visible to my whole team. So I don't have to hold a status meeting just to tell my project manager or my scrum master that I've changed the order of the tasks. So here I'm going to start working on the task. So directly from the task, again, I said I want to start working on it. The IDE was smart and it said, by the way, you're in the middle of working on something, let's suspend those change set. So this is the first key of change set based configuration management, in which way we can take these change sets and work with them, in which case we suspended this so it's on the side and you can get back to it later. So let's open the build result. We're clicking around here and we're actually looking at where the build breakage actually occurred. It looks like there was actually a compile error in the code. So we traverse from the build result directly into the source code that I've loaded into my IDE, and you can see here that obviously there's a syntax error in this Java code. I'm going to run annotate, which shows the history at the bottom so I can see who did what work items they were done in. You have a merge graph to show how changes were merged over time. In this case, it looks like there's basically a change set here that added the oops word to the file. Now, since everything is change set based, it's not file based, it means that I can revert this entire change as a whole unit, and I can actually get this change out. So I could have modified this file, but often bugs are located in several files. And again, the power of change sets is that you can make change set based operations, like we suspended a change set. In this case, we're reverting a change set, in which case we're creating the opposite of this change set, and we're going to release the opposite of this change set, which has the fix that removes that syntax error. So we still have our suspended work, which is fine. We'll get back to that later. But now we've got this one work item, which we have a fix to. The fix is being tracked in the pending changes view. So before we deliver this, one of the cool enablement features we have is everybody working with RTC has a development time sandbox on the server. And we implemented a feature called personal builds, which lets you actually run a build on your personal sandbox on the server. And this lets you do a pre-check to make sure you're not going to break your team and actually run a real build, but on a different set of source code. With the click of a button, you've run another build. It's running on the server, but taking the source out of your server-side sandbox before you actually deliver it to your team. So we're going to open up the build result. We can see its progress quickly. We can look at its activities to see how far along it's going. And at some point it's going to be done, and we'll see the units have run, we've got all the artifacts, and it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and deliver this now. So delivering is the actual gesture of sharing this with my team. So everybody using RTC gets a sandbox where they can check in changes, and they have to make the explicit decision when you want to share it with your team. So it gives you a level of transparency and a level of isolation so you can do work. So let's declare success on this bug, and let's move on to another item in our inbox. So let's open task 156. And what we're going to show now is how easy it is to actually collaborate with people on your team. So without having to think about branching or, how do I get change sets from one person to the next, this example we've got Jennifer, who has some changes in her repository side sandbox that she's gone on vacation and she wants me to finish. So I'm just going to go ahead here and show you how I've got a sandbox on the server and I'm flowing all my change sets to the stream call center main. So Jennifer's doing the same thing. So for me to see the changes that Jennifer has in flight that she hasn't delivered yet, it's just a matter of me changing my collaboration so that I can see and accept change sets from her environment into mine. So I'm accepting change sets from Jennifer. I've got her change sets now. I can change my flow back onto the mainstream. So this is basically branching, at the deluxe level without having to worry about branching. Everybody has branches. You can flow change sets between developers, between integration streams. In this case, I'm not going to modify Jennifer's change sets. Imagine that I've tested them out, I've looked at them. I'm just going to go ahead quickly and add a comment. I'm going to deliver these and resolve the work item all in one gesture. I'll add a nice comment for Jennifer so when she gets back she can get an indication I've actually done something with her change sets. And I'll deliver these for her. So we can go back to my work view. Looks like I've done the 2 tasks. They've been updated. The plan's been updated. They've shown it resolved. My project manager and everybody around me has seen that I've done work. So this is the power of change set based development, and by having developers linked into the plans and not having a different spreadsheet for developers and for the team. So again, this is a tip of the iceberg. Come join us on Jazz.net.